Hi, my name is Diane Schuster, and you're watching one of a series of videos that demonstrate the capabilities of COZYROC SSIS Plus, which is a software suite of tasks and components for SQL Server integration services. These demonstrations were built using SQL Server Integration Services 2012. The COZYROC tasks and components are available for SQL Server Integration Services 2005 through 2016 in both 32-bit and 64-bit editions. For more information, please visit www.cozyroc.com. In this video, we're going to talk about the Excel Source Plus component that you can use to integrate or migrate data from an Excel spreadsheet. In COZYROC SSIS Plus product, we provide source and destination components for Excel, which have features not found in the standard Excel components. The standard Excel source component has problems with alphanumeric data. It samples some number of rows and then assigns a data type. After assigning the data type, if it runs into data that doesn't match the assigned data type, it discards the data that doesn't match. It is possible to tell the standard component to sample more rows, but that is error-prone. COZYROC's Excel Source Plus component does not assign a data type that could result in the loss of data, so it handles alphanumeric data just fine. Another limitation of the standard Excel Source component is that it cannot handle data longer than 255 characters. This causes problems with truncation. COZYROC's Excel Source Plus component allows the length of columns to be changed using the advanced editor. So as long as you change the length of the columns to accommodate your data will not be truncated. The standard Excel Source component only executes in 32-bit mode. The COZYROC Excel Source Plus component executes in both 32-bit and 64-bit modes. The standard Excel Source component does not work with password-protected files, whereas the COZYROC Excel Source Plus component does. If you don't want to start reading data from the beginning of an Excel worksheet and you're using the standard Excel Source component, a SQL-like language must be used to specify the columns and rows you want processed. The COZYROC Excel Source Plus component provides a point-and-click interface for specifying the columns and rows you want processed. Another feature that's unique to the COZYROC Source Plus component is that the Excel source file and worksheet metadata can be modified dynamically at runtime using an SSIS expression. The standard Excel source component does not work with Excel files that were created using Office 365. The COZYROC Excel Source Plus component works with files created by any version of Excel as well as Excel Mobile. Before I go demonstrate some of the limitations of the standard Excel source component, I wanted to show you the data in the Excel file. And this is an Excel file saved in the 2003 format. And you can see in row 44, column G, we have a number and it's preceded by all null cells. And then in row 46, columns F and H, we have N/A, and everything before that was numbers or a null cell. In row 56, we have in column E, the memo column, we have data that's very long. It's longer than 255 characters. So here's a package I already have set up using the standard Excel source component, and we'll execute it. And there you can see we have an error. So I'll go stop debugging, and we'll look at the execution results, and I'll copy this into Notepad so you can see the whole message, and there you can see the text was truncated, and that was because of that very long cell. So now I'm going to go in and edit that Excel file and shorten the data in that one cell that had the data that's longer than 255 characters. So I'm going to change it to what it originally was and save the file. And now we'll execute the package again. This time it was successful. Now we'll take a look at the data that was written to the table by the package we just ran. And I'll scroll down to find that data that I pointed out in the source Excel file. And there you can see the contents of those fields are null, so we lost the data. Here's the Excel file I'm going to use for the next part of the demonstration using COZYROC's Excel Source Plus component. And it has the same data in it as the other Excel file, but it was created using Office 365 and it was saved in that format. Okay, I have this package already configured with the destination component. And now I'll drag COZYROC's Excel Source Plus component onto the canvas. And I'll go in to edit that, and I need to set up a new connection manager. And this uses the COZYROC Excel Connection Manager. And you must use that connection manager for these components to work. So I'm selecting the Excel source file that was created with Office 365. And I test the connection, and that's good. And I want to show you the Advanced tab here in the Connection Manager. There you can see you can choose the format. I'll leave it set to automatic. And that's also where you specify the passwords for the Excel file. There's one for an open password as well as a modify password. And then there's also the recalculate checkbox. And now we'll select the worksheet. And here you can see we automatically get a preview of the data in the worksheet. And here you see we can specify a named range to read in from that worksheet. I'll just leave it set to region, and then I can specify the columns and the rows that I want read. I will just leave it set to starting at column 1, row 1, and the -1 for width and height means to read everything, to read all the data. I could set it to a specific number of rows and columns. Right, now we'll go look at the columns, and everything shows up there. And now I need to change the length, so we're going to use the Advanced Editor. So I right mouse click in the component, and I select Show Advanced Editor. And I go to Input and Output Properties, and I need to change the length of that memo field so then it can accommodate the data in that long cell. So I'm going to change this to 500 because I know that's big enough. I need to do that in 3 different places. And now we expand this. And there's the 3rd place. Now we can handle that long cell. And I'll connect the source to the destination, and we'll open up the destination component and just take a quick look at the mappings. And that looks good, so we'll close it. Now we'll save the package, and we'll execute it. And it was successful. Now we'll go look at the data that we wrote into the table. And I'll scroll down and find the cells that the standard Excel source component had problems with. And here you can see we wrote the data, even though all the cells preceding that were null. And here you see the N/A and these other 2 columns. And now we'll go find the data in that very long cell, and we copy it and paste it into Notepad, so that you can see nothing was truncated. In summary, I've shown you how easy it is to use COZYROC's Excel Source Plus component. I demonstrated some of the advantages of using our component over using the standard component, such as our ability to handle columns with alphanumeric data, columns with long data, and worksheets created with the latest version of Excel. I also described some other advantages that I did not demonstrate, and that concludes this demo.